"I can't believe he's here, this changes everything," whispered 29-year-old nutritionist Dr. Elena Martinez as she stared at the impossible meal plan displayed on her computer screen at 11:45 p.m., her hands trembling as she realized that what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was asking her to create defied every known principle of sports nutrition and human metabolism. For the past 8 months, Elena had been working with elite athletes to optimize their performance through precision nutrition. But when Shai approached her about developing a dietary protocol that could sustain the kind of energy output his playing style demanded, Elena discovered something that challenged everything she thought she knew about human biology and athletic performance. The problem wasn't that Shai's requests were unreasonable, it was that according to every nutritional science textbook ever written, what he was asking for was physiologically impossible. Yet somehow, Shai was already demonstrating energy levels and recovery rates that suggested his body operated according to different biological rules than other athletes. What Elena didn't know was that her struggle to create Shai's impossible diet would lead to revolutionary discoveries about human potential and force the entire field of sports nutrition to reconsider their fundamental assumptions about what the human body could achieve when properly fueled. But let me take you back to where this nutritional mystery began, because the story of how one athlete's dietary needs broke every rule of sports science starts with a perfectionist nutritionist who believed that human performance could be optimized through precise scientific analysis of metabolic processes and nutritional requirements. The date was September 22, 2023, and Dr. Elena Martinez stood in her state-of-the-art nutrition laboratory at the Oklahoma Sports Performance Institute, preparing for what she expected would be a routine consultation with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander about optimizing his pregame and recovery nutrition. At 29 years old, Elena had already established herself as one of the most innovative sports nutritionists in professional athletics, working with Olympic athletes, NFL players, and NBA stars to develop personalized dietary protocols that enhanced performance and accelerated recovery. Elena's approach to sports nutrition was grounded in rigorous scientific methodology and the belief that athletic performance could be dramatically improved through precise manipulation of macronutrient timing, micronutrient optimization, and metabolic pathway enhancement. Every aspect of athletic performance has a nutritional foundation that can be measured, understood, and optimized, Elena would explain to the athletes she worked with. When we understand exactly how your body processes different nutrients, when it needs specific compounds, and how various foods affect your energy systems, we can create dietary protocols that give you measurable performance advantages. This philosophy had made Elena incredibly successful in helping athletes achieve performance breakthroughs that they had previously thought impossible. She had developed nutrition plans that increased endurance by 15%, reduced recovery time by 30%, and enhanced cognitive function during high-pressure competition. When Shai's management team contacted Elena about developing a comprehensive nutritional program, she was excited about the opportunity to apply her most advanced protocols to one of the NBA's most consistently excellent performers. Shai represents the perfect case study for understanding how optimal nutrition can support sustained elite performance, Elena told her research team when explaining the project. His consistency and durability suggest someone whose nutrition is already well managed, but I believe we can identify specific optimizations that will take his performance to an even higher level. Elena planned to conduct the most thorough nutritional assessment of her career, using advanced metabolic testing, micronutrient analysis, and performance correlation studies to create a dietary protocol that would support Shai's unique physiological demands. However, what Elena discovered during their first consultation would begin a journey that challenged every assumption she had made about human metabolism and the relationship between nutrition and extraordinary athletic performance. Elena's initial meeting with Shai took place in her laboratory, surrounded by sophisticated testing equipment, meal preparation stations, and monitoring devices that could track everything from blood glucose responses to cellular energy production. She had prepared a comprehensive questionnaire about Shai's current dietary habits, energy levels, and performance patterns. Shai, I'd like to start by understanding your current approach to nutrition and any specific goals you have for optimizing your dietary protocol, Elena began, expecting a typical athlete response about wanting more energy or faster recovery. Instead, Shai's answer revealed a level of nutritional awareness and physiological understanding that caught Elena completely off guard. Dr. Martinez, I've been studying nutrition and metabolism for several years now, and I've noticed that my body seems to respond differently to food than what the standard sports nutrition guidelines suggest, Shai explained. I'm interested in exploring whether there are nutritional approaches that could support the kind of sustained high-level performance that goes beyond normal athletic parameters. Elena was intrigued by Shai's sophisticated understanding of nutrition science, but what he said next would begin to reveal the depth of the challenge she was about to face. I've been tracking my energy expenditure and recovery patterns very carefully, and I've found that my caloric needs and nutrient requirements seem to be significantly higher than what metabolic calculations predict, Shai continued. I'm wondering if there are nutritional strategies that could support energy output and recovery rates that exceed normal human physiological limits. Elena had worked with many athletes who had unusual metabolic needs, but she had never encountered someone who spoke about nutrition in terms of exceeding normal human physiological limits. Shai, can you be more specific about what kind of energy demands you're trying to support? Elena asked, genuinely curious about what he meant. Shai's response would reveal that he was asking Elena to solve a nutritional puzzle that had never been attempted before in sports science. I play basketball at a level of intensity and consistency that requires energy output and cognitive function that standard sports nutrition doesn't really account for, Shai explained. I need to maintain peak physical and mental performance for 48 minutes of game time, plus practices, plus the mental energy required for leadership and decision-making, all while maintaining complete consistency across an 82-game season. Elena began to understand that Shai wasn't just asking for performance optimization, he was asking for nutritional support for a level of sustained excellence that pushed the boundaries of what sports science considered possible. What you're describing sounds like you need nutritional protocols that support not just athletic performance, but something closer to sustained human optimization, Elena observed. Shai nodded. Exactly. I'm not just trying to be a better basketball player. I'm trying to understand what's nutritionally possible for human potential. This conversation marked the beginning of Elena's most challenging and ultimately revolutionary project, developing nutritional science for extraordinary human performance. However, what Elena discovered when she began analyzing Shai's actual metabolic data would reveal just how far beyond normal parameters his physiological demands actually extended. Over the following weeks, Elena conducted the most comprehensive metabolic assessment she had ever performed. She measured Shai's resting metabolic rate, analyzed his energy expenditure during various activities, tested his nutrient absorption and utilization rates, and tracked his recovery patterns across different nutritional protocols. The results challenged everything Elena thought she knew about human metabolism and athletic nutrition. This doesn't make sense according to any metabolic equations I've ever used, Elena noted as she reviewed Shai's test results. His resting metabolic rate is 30% higher than predictions, his energy expenditure during activity is 40% above normal calculations, and his nutrient utilization rates suggest metabolic efficiency that shouldn't be possible. Elena ran multiple verification tests, assuming there must be errors in her measurements or equipment malfunctions. But every analysis confirmed the same unprecedented metabolic profile. According to standard metabolic science, Shai should require approximately 4,500 calories per day to maintain his weight and support his activity level, Elena documented in her research notes. But his actual energy demands appear to be closer to 7,000 to 8,000 calories per day, with nutrient requirements that are proportionally higher across every category. But what challenged Elena even more was that Shai's body seemed to be utilizing nutrients with an efficiency that exceeded what she had thought was metabolically possible. Most athletes show nutrient absorption rates of 60 to 80% for most compounds, Elena observed. But Shai's absorption and utilization rates are approaching 95% across multiple nutrient categories, which suggests metabolic optimization that I've never seen before. Elena realized that she wasn't just dealing with an athlete who had high energy demands, she was working with someone whose body operated according to metabolic principles that pushed the boundaries of what she had believed was humanly possible. But the real challenge would come when Elena tried to create a nutritional protocol that could actually support Shai's extraordinary metabolic demands. Elena spent months researching and developing nutritional approaches that could provide the caloric density, nutrient quality, and metabolic support that Shai's body required. She studied nutritional protocols from extreme endurance sports, military special operations, and even space exploration, looking for approaches that could support sustained high-level human performance. Traditional sports nutrition assumes energy needs that peak during competition and return to baseline during rest, Elena explained to her research team. But Shai's metabolic demands suggest someone who maintains near-peak energy output almost continuously, which requires completely different nutritional strategies. Elena developed what she called continuous peak performance nutrition, a dietary protocol that treated Shai's body like a high-performance engine that needed to maintain optimal function 24 hours a day rather than just during specific performance windows. The nutritional program Elena created included meal timing that aligned with Shai's circadian rhythms and training schedule, nutrient combinations that maximized absorption and utilization, and supplementation protocols that supported the specific metabolic pathways that his extraordinary energy demands required. "We're not just fueling athletic performance," Elena explained to Shai as she presented the protocol. "We're supporting sustained human optimization at a level that most nutritional science doesn't even consider possible." But what happened when Shai began implementing Elena's nutritional program would validate her approach in ways that surprised even her. Within 2 weeks of starting Elena's nutritional protocol, Shai reported energy levels and recovery rates that exceeded anything he had experienced before. His sleep quality improved dramatically, his cognitive function during games was sharper, and his physical recovery between intense training sessions was faster than he had thought possible. "This is incredible," Shai told Elena during a follow-up consultation. "I feel like I have access to energy reserves that I didn't know existed. My body feels like it's operating at a completely different level of efficiency." Elena was thrilled that her protocol was working, but she was also amazed by the magnitude of the improvements Shai was experiencing. "We're seeing performance enhancements that go beyond what I've achieved with any other athlete," Elena documented in her research notes. Shai's energy levels, recovery rates, and cognitive function are showing improvements that suggest his body was significantly underfueled before we optimized his nutrition. But what Elena discovered as she continued monitoring Shai's response to the nutritional program would reveal that they had stumbled onto principles that could revolutionize sports nutrition for all elite athletes. The improvements Shai experienced weren't just individual performance gains, they were evidence of nutritional principles that could unlock higher levels of human potential across different sports and performance contexts. What we've learned from Shai's nutritional optimization applies to any situation where humans are trying to perform at the highest possible level, Elena realized. The principles of continuous peak performance nutrition could benefit everyone from endurance athletes to cognitive performers to people in high-stress careers. Elena began researching whether other elite athletes might benefit from similar nutritional approaches. She developed modified versions of Shai's protocol for athletes in different sports, adjusting the specific nutrients and timing based on their unique performance demands. However, what happened when Elena published her research findings would demonstrate that Shai's nutritional breakthrough had implications that extended far beyond sports performance. Elena's paper, titled "Continuous Peak Performance Nutrition: Supporting Sustained Human Optimization Through Advanced Metabolic Fueling," was published in the Journal of Sports Nutrition and immediately gained attention from researchers, athletes, and performance coaches around the world. Dr. Martinez has identified nutritional principles that challenge our understanding of human metabolic capacity, explained Dr. Michael Chin, a sports science researcher at Stanford University who peer-reviewed Elena's work. Her research suggests that most athletes are significantly underfueled for the demands they're placing on their bodies. Elena's nutritional protocols were adopted by Olympic training programs, professional sports teams, and even military special operations units who recognized that the principles she had developed could enhance performance in any context requiring sustained excellence. Elena's work with Shai revealed that human performance is often limited not by physical or mental capacity, but by inadequate nutritional support, noted Olympic nutritionist Dr. Sarah Wilson. When you properly fuel the human body for sustained peak performance, capabilities emerge that most people never knew they possessed. Elena was invited to speak at nutrition conferences around the world about the implications of her research for understanding human potential and metabolic optimization. "What Shai taught me is that the human body is capable of much more than we typically ask of it, but only when we provide the nutritional support that extraordinary performance requires," Elena explained during one of these presentations. But the most meaningful validation of Elena's work came when other athletes began implementing her continuous peak performance nutrition protocols and achieving similar breakthroughs in their own sports. Within 18 months of Elena's initial work with Shai, her nutritional approaches were being used by athletes across multiple sports who were achieving performance improvements that their previous nutrition plans had never supported. Elena's nutritional protocols don't just help athletes perform better, explained NBA Performance Director Dr. Marcus Torres. They help athletes access levels of performance that they didn't know were possible. Elena was promoted to Director of Advanced Performance Nutrition at the Thunder organization and became a leading consultant for athletes and teams who wanted to explore the frontiers of human performance optimization. What started as a consultation with Shai became the foundation for a completely new understanding of how nutrition can support human excellence. Elena reflected during an interview about her career transformation. But what happened when Elena began studying the broader implications of continuous peak performance nutrition would reveal that her work had applications far beyond athletic competition. Elena's research demonstrated that the nutritional principles she had developed for Shai could support sustained high performance in any field requiring mental acuity, physical resilience, and consistent excellence over extended periods. Business executives, surgeons, pilots, and other professionals in high-demand careers began implementing modified versions of Elena's protocols and reporting improved energy, cognitive function, and stress resilience. The human body doesn't distinguish between athletic performance and other forms of demanding work, Elena explained during a presentation to Fortune 500 executives. The same nutritional principles that support sustained athletic excellence can support sustained performance in any professional context. Elena's work led to the development of nutritional programs for various professional fields, each adapted to the specific performance demands and stress patterns of different careers. Elena's research showed us that most high performers, regardless of their field, are operating significantly below their potential because they're not providing their bodies with adequate nutritional support, noted productivity researcher Dr. Amanda Foster. 3 years after her initial confusion about Shai's impossible nutritional demands, Elena had established a new field of performance nutrition and was recognized as a pioneer in using advanced metabolic science to unlock human potential. During an award ceremony recognizing her contributions to sports science, Elena reflected on how Shai's challenging requests had led to the most important discoveries of her career. "When I first met Shai, I thought he was asking for something that was nutritionally impossible," Elena explained. "But what I learned is that impossible is often just a limitation of our current understanding, not a limitation of human potential." Elena concluded her speech by acknowledging the athlete whose extraordinary demands had forced her to expand her understanding of human metabolism and performance nutrition. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't just want better nutrition. He challenged me to understand what nutritional excellence could make possible. His willingness to explore the boundaries of human performance taught me that our bodies are capable of extraordinary things when we provide them with extraordinary support. Years later, when young nutritionists asked Elena for advice about building innovative careers in performance science, she would always tell them about the night she realized that Shai's nutritional demands weren't impossible, they were just ahead of their time. "The most important lesson I learned is that when someone asks for something that seems impossible according to current science, it usually means they're operating at a level that requires you to discover new science," Elena would explain. "The best breakthroughs often come from athletes who are already pushing the boundaries of human potential and need nutritional support that doesn't exist yet." And in her laboratory, Elena kept her original metabolic assessment of Shai alongside her current continuous peak performance nutrition protocols, with a note she had written to herself. "Extraordinary human performance requires extraordinary nutritional science to understand and support." The nutritionist who created Shai's impossible diet had discovered that her greatest challenge was actually her most important innovation, and that the athletes who seem to need nutritional support that doesn't exist are often the ones who show us what becomes possible when human potential meets optimal biological support. But Elena's story with Shai was far from over. 6 months after implementing his initial nutritional protocol, Shai returned with an even more ambitious request that would push Elena's understanding of performance nutrition to its absolute limits. "Dr. Martinez, the nutritional program you created has been incredible," Shai said during their follow-up consultation. "But I've been thinking about something more comprehensive. What if we could develop nutritional strategies that support not just physical and mental performance, but emotional resilience, stress recovery, and even accelerated learning?" Elena stared at Shai, realizing that he was asking her to explore nutritional support for what could only be described as total human optimization. "You're talking about nutrition that supports every aspect of human performance simultaneously," Elena said slowly. "That would require understanding how different nutrients affect not just metabolism and energy production, but neurotransmitter function, stress hormone regulation, and cognitive processing." Shai nodded. "I believe that optimal human performance isn't just about physical capabilities or even mental focus. It's about creating conditions where every system in the body is functioning at its highest possible level." This conversation would launch Elena into the most ambitious project of her career, developing what she would eventually call integrative human optimization nutrition. Over the following year, Elena expanded her research beyond traditional sports nutrition to study neuroscience, endocrinology, psychology, and even molecular biology. She wanted to understand how nutritional interventions could support optimal function across every system that contributed to human performance. What Shai was asking for required me to think about nutrition not just as fuel for athletic performance, but as a tool for optimizing every aspect of human potential, Elena explained to her expanded research team, which now included neuroscientists, psychologists, and molecular biologists. Elena's integrative approach led to nutritional protocols that included specific nutrients for neurotransmitter optimization, targeted compounds for stress resilience, and timing strategies that aligned with circadian rhythms for maximum cognitive and physical recovery. We weren't just creating a diet, Elena reflected. We were developing a comprehensive biological support system for sustained human excellence. The results of Elena's integrative nutrition program exceeded even her ambitious expectations. Shai reported not just improved physical performance, but enhanced emotional stability, faster learning and adaptation, better stress management, and more consistent sleep and recovery patterns. It's like my body and mind are working together at a level I never experienced before, Shai told Elena. I feel like I have access to capabilities that I didn't know existed. But what happened when Elena began testing her integrative nutrition protocols with other elite performers would reveal that Shai's extraordinary demands had led to the development of nutritional science that could benefit anyone seeking to optimize their human potential. Elena's integrative nutrition approaches were adopted by professionals across various fields: surgeons who needed sustained focus during long operations, executives who required consistent decision-making under pressure, students who wanted enhanced learning capacity, and artists who sought sustained creative flow states. Elena's work demonstrated that the same nutritional principles that support athletic excellence can support excellence in any human endeavor, explained cognitive performance researcher Dr. James Liu. She showed us that optimal nutrition isn't just about supporting what we do, it's about supporting who we can become. Elena's research led to the establishment of the Human Optimization Nutrition Institute, where she continued developing nutritional protocols for peak performance across different fields and life stages. What started as a request from one athlete became a comprehensive understanding of how nutrition can support human potential in all its forms, Elena said during the Institute's opening ceremony. 5 years after first meeting Shai, Elena published a book titled Nutritional Excellence: Fueling Human Potential Beyond Athletic Performance, that became a bestseller and required reading in nutrition, psychology, and performance coaching programs. During her book tour, Elena would always reference her initial confusion about Shai's nutritional demands and how they had led to discoveries that transformed her understanding of human potential. Shai taught me that extraordinary people don't just need better versions of ordinary nutrition, Elena would explain during interviews. They need nutritional science that's as extraordinary as the performance they're trying to achieve. Elena's work had demonstrated that when someone's performance demands exceed current scientific understanding, it often means they're showing us what becomes possible when human potential meets optimal support across all biological systems. The nutritionist who thought Shai's dietary needs were impossible had learned that impossibility was often just an invitation to discover new possibilities, and that the most important innovations in performance science come from athletes who are already operating at levels that require science to catch up to their potential. In her final reflection on her journey with Shai, Elena wrote, "The greatest gift any scientist can receive is working with someone whose performance demands force you to expand your understanding of what human beings are capable of achieving." Shai didn't just need better nutrition. He showed me what nutrition could make possible when we stop thinking about limits and start thinking about potential. The story of Elena and Shai had become more than just a case study in sports nutrition. It had become a blueprint for how collaboration between extraordinary performers and innovative scientists could push the boundaries of human potential and reveal capabilities that most people never knew they possessed. Years later, when both Elena and Shai reflected on their partnership, they agreed that their work together had been about much more than basketball performance or nutritional optimization. It had been about discovering what becomes possible when someone committed to excellence meets someone committed to understanding excellence at the deepest scientific level. Elena didn't just fuel my body, Shai said during a joint interview. She helped me understand what my body was capable of when properly supported. That understanding changed not just how I played basketball, but how I approached every aspect of my life. Elena nodded. And Shai didn't just challenge my nutritional knowledge. He challenged me to expand my understanding of human potential. Working with him taught me that the best science often comes from trying to support people who are already operating beyond what we thought was possible. Their collaboration had proven that extraordinary human performance and extraordinary scientific understanding could enhance each other in ways that created possibilities neither could achieve alone, and that the most important discoveries often come from the courage to pursue what seems impossible until science finds a way to make it real.